Okay, so you should have already answered parts A and B for homework. Okay, we should know that a squared graph is a quadratic, meaning it will make a U shape, and that is the original parent function, is the x squared part. That minus 1 on the outside should tell us that it moves down 1. Okay, and honestly, me personally, I don't use these XY charts. I memorize that it's a U shape. And when I was in school, this was not how I did it. It was not how I was taught to do it. I was taught to use those XY charts. And trust me, if you memorize those original functions and then just move them around, it's so much easier. Okay, so that's that original U function. And all I'm going to do to it is move every single point down 1. And so now I've got a whole nother U shape. Okay, but if you're somebody who you really like those XY charts, you need those XY charts, here they are. So what they do is they plug in -3 and they square it. -3 squared is 9. They plug in -2 and they square it. -2 squared is 4. They plug in -1 and they square it. -1 squared is 1. They plug in 0 and square it. 0 squared is 0. And this repeats all the way down, 1, 4, 9. Okay, so they actually get one more dot than I have on mine. So they would get a 9 way up here. Okay. So then you can memorize that we are just taking our original piece, that 9, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4, 9. And we're dealing with that -1 portion. And we're just subtracting 1 from everything. When it's one transformation, it's really nice and easy to finish this off and to do this. When it's a little bit more than one transformation, there's some more things for us to consider. 8, 3, 2, -1, 0, 3, 8. And you can see those are the same points I have right here. The 8, the 3, I don't know how I got 2 there. That should have been a 0. 0, -1, 0, 3, and 8 again. So it's your choice. If you want to use those XY charts, you are more than welcome to. I taught this last year. I taught with a student teacher. My student teacher taught the XY charts. I taught based off of the picture. I would say about 90% of my students use the picture way. Okay, so I'm on the next page. So you should have answered A and B for homework. You should have gotten that it's a squared graph, so it is a quadratic. You should know that that -1 on the inside causes a movement to the right 1. That means my original graph was the x squared graph. The x squared graph is always a U shape, so let me go graph that for you. At 2, it's 4. Let me get this U shape right there. Notice they do one more set of points than I do. That's fine. And then that transformation says, hey, move to the right one. So I moved all of those points right one. And I just get a U shape that's twisted over just a little bit. Okay. When I get to multiplication, this is one of the only places that I might find that T-chart useful, just because that multiplying gets a little hard for some of us. Notice that this is still a squared, it's still a quadratic. That graph is halving us, it's causing us to look fat. Okay. Fat and short. We haven't talked about that a whole lot yet, but we will get there. We can do the math with this though. The original is x squared. That gives me the 9, the 4, the 1, the 0, the 1, the 4, the 9. All I did was square each of those numbers. That gives me my original U shape that I've had on all of these things. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is half each of those numbers. So notice that they moved to a -4 instead of this -3. They did that because that's an easier number to half than 9 is. It's okay. You can half 9. Half of 9 is 4.5. Half of 4 is 2. Half of 1 is 1/2 or 0.5. Half of 0, still 0. Half of 1, 0.5. Notice that this is just going to mirror again, so this will be to the 2 and the 4.5. All of this should have been written in blue pen. Sorry about that. So I'm just halving it. And that's what my picture looks like. Okay. So then I am assigning for you to finish up some graphs. Notice that the graphs in our homework section might be different graphs, so we did things with all quadratics. This is an absolute value. Its original is a V shape. You should have this memorized. You should be able to draw this, but if you can't, you can always rely on step C. If you don't need to do step C, then you do not have to do step C. Okay, my graph for 5, since it's squared, it's a quadratic, it'll give you that U shape. I think I have one more graph in here. Yeah. Since it's cubed, I get that cube graph. Whoa, sorry. Zero, 1, 1. 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. Notice I am going all the way to that point there. I almost always go from -2 to +2. and then you'll move them based on the movements. Okay, we only did one movements in class, so I'm going to go ahead and do this last one for you. We do that inside movement first. That goes right 1. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to move all of these things right 1. I honestly draw different pictures for each step. I think it's really important. Then my next piece tells me to do a +2 on the outside, which moves up 2. So I take my red one now and I move my red one up 2 pieces every single time. That one I went up 3. 2 pieces, 2 pieces, and then 2 pieces puts me off the graph over here. Oh no, it doesn't. I just mismarked mine. At 8. And the purple one puts me at 10. Okay, and so, if we were in class, I would tell you that for a test that we were doing written out, you would have to go and highlight your very last one so I knew what your last transformation was. Or you could go through and you could erase your steps to get there. It's your choice. It's whatever you like better. For some of us, this looks really gross and you're like, man, this is not what I want my paper to look like. For some of us, we're like, yes, I want to see every single step. I don't really care that the end result looks gross. I want to be able to see it. So it's your choice. I will let you know that I can give you partial credit for the ones that keep the steps in between. But I also give partial credit based off of this information right here where it says move right 1, move up 2. And so something like where you saw I made the mistake of like I accidentally put my original point on the 9 instead of the 8, I would be able to know that you made a mistake there at the beginning and that it had nothing to do with your ability to move up or over.